I used to be terrified of failure. I truly believed it was the grim reaper of ambition, coming to harvest my dignity. I thought that if I started a business and it went bankrupt, or if I wrote a book and nobody read it, my life would effectively be over. I spent decades of my life tiptoeing around the edges of the arena, terrified of slipping and falling in the mud. I kept my shoes clean. I kept my shirt pressed. I was wrong. I was so incredibly, devastatingly wrong. Now, standing here at 75, looking back at the tapestry of my life, I can tell you with absolute certainty that failure is not the worst thing that can happen to a man. Failure is a bruise. It turns purple. It hurts, but it heals. Failure is a lesson. It sharpens your instincts. Failure is the only tangible evidence that you actually tried to do something. No, there is something 1,000 times more painful than failure. There is a specific kind of wound that doesn't heal. Something that rots you from the inside out, like a slow-moving necrosis. It is the ghost I have to live with every single day. And if you don't want this ghost haunting your house when you are my age, you need to listen to what I buried inside for a lifetime. Let's define the stakes, because they are higher than you think. We live in a society that demonizes the stumble. We hide our rejections. We scrub our social media feeds of anything that looks like weakness. We are obsessed with the perfect record, the undefeated season. But this obsession creates a dangerous blind spot. By avoiding the possibility of failure, we inadvertently choose the certainty of regret. I am not talking about the regret of doing something stupid, like crashing a car or saying the wrong thing. I am talking about the regret of the unlived life. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it omission regret. It is the haunting, persistent memory of the path not taken. It's the ghost of the girl not kissed, the trip not booked, the startup not launched. When I was 40 years old, I had a tangible chance to move to Japan for a year. It was a wild, impractical, beautiful idea. I wanted to study Zen gardening. I can still smell the phantom scent of pine needles and damp earth when I think about it. I can see the moss, but I didn't go. Why? Because I was afraid of losing my corporate momentum. I was afraid of a gap in my resume. I was afraid of looking foolish to people whose names I can't even remember now. I failed to act. And that non-action is a wound that never scabs over. It stays fresh forever. I want you to close your eyes and visualize a graveyard. But this isn't a graveyard of people. It is a graveyard of dreams. Walking through it, you see headstones, but they have no dates of death because they never lived. Here lies the novel I never wrote. Here lies the company I never started. Here lies the love I never confessed. Imagine walking through this graveyard at night. The air is cold and absolutely still. There is no sound of wind, no rustling leaves, only the deafening silence of potential that was never realized. You reach out to touch a headstone, and it crumbles into dust under your fingers because it never really existed in the real world. But here is the micro hook, the twist that keeps me up at night. The most terrifying part of this graveyard isn't the silence. It's the realization that you are the gravedigger. You are the one holding the shovel. You are burying parts of yourself alive every single day without even noticing the weight of the dirt in your hands. My biggest regret isn't the time I lost money in the stock market. I made that money back. It isn't the time I got fired. I got another job. My biggest regret is cowardice. It is the times I betrayed my own intuition to please the crowd. It is the self-betrayal. There is a specific physical sensation associated with self-betrayal, and I know you have felt it. It happens when you say yes, when every fiber of your soul is screaming no. It happens when you nod politely at a dinner party while someone spouts nonsense, suppressing your own truth just to keep the peace. It feels like swallowing a small, jagged stone. You think it's just one stone, it doesn't matter. But over 40 years, you swallow thousands of stones, and eventually they build a wall inside you. A heavy, grey wall that blocks out the light. I became a master of fitting in. I was a chameleon. I wore the masks that society handed me. The good employee mask, the responsible father mask, the rational adult mask. I wore them so long that when I finally took them off at age 70, I didn't recognize the face underneath. I had forgotten who I was. That is the tragedy. Not failure, but the erasure of the self. Listen to the sound of a hollow echo. Imagine shouting into a canyon and hearing nothing back. That is what it feels like to look inside yourself after decades of ignoring your inner voice. The voice gets quieter and quieter until one day it stops speaking altogether. But the scary part is that the voice doesn't actually die. It just retreats into the basement of your subconscious, and it waits until you are weak, usually at 3 a.m., to bang on the floorboards and remind you of everything you were too scared to become. So, what is the solution? How do you avoid this fate? You must reframe your relationship with fear. You need to understand that fear is a compass. If a dream scares you, it means it matters. If a decision makes your heart race and your palms sweat, it means there is growth on the other side. We are taught to run away from fear. I am telling you to run toward it. The fear of failure is a lie. The only real danger is the comfort of the sidelines. I would rather be the man in the arena, face marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly and fails, than to be the cold and timid soul who neither knows victory nor defeat. I spent my life as the timid soul, and let me tell you, the safety of the sidelines is cold, it is lonely, and it is boring. Don't let your potential die in the graveyard of someday. Dig it up, breathe life into it, make the call, take the leap, risk the failure. Because a scar from a fall is a trophy of a life lived. A pristine, unmarked skin is the uniform of a coward. Failure is not the enemy. Cowardice is the enemy. Regret is the enemy. Go out there and fail. Fail gloriously. Fail often. Because at least then, when you are 75, you can say, I lived.